We back with another episode of the JOAT podcast, man. How y'all been?
I've been pretty swell. I can't complain.
Pretty swell. That was dry, bro. That was
I've been grand.
Been grand.
I've been grand.
Been grand. How you been, bro?
I'm good, man. Real good. Yeah. Happy to be with the family. Happy to be here.
Seemed like a long time, but shit, we doing it more and more, man. We got another special guest for y'all, Mr. Leah Postell. She is an official JOAT member. I guess I can call you official. She was asking what her.
She's a trade.
She's a tradeswoman. She was asking what her shirt was earlier.
Actually, the first woman on the show.
For real?
The first woman on the show.
You making history.
Yeah.
What? I thought y'all had a woman on here before.
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the first woman on the show.
So put that on your Facebook profile
you,
too.
like,
Put that on there too.
Look at Soulja Boy. First
sold
male.
it.
You popping your shit earlier today. She was popping her shit. You had too much downtime at work.
Man, work is stressful, so I have to stay on my social media.
Is it really?
It is. I'm like, I didn't sign up for work. Like, I ain't worked in 6 years. This is different.
I thought y'all still on Zoom.
You didn't think that.
Well, I seen it, y'all was on Zoom on the store, so I just like, okay, this is what she be doing.
That's only a tenth of what we do.
Okay.
What we do. Let's get into what you do, Mr. Leah. Of course, we brought you on. You are a jack of all trades. You wear many hats. So just introduce yourself to the people. Let them know where you're from, a little bit about what you do.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make it in order. So my name is Aliya Postell. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. Look, I'm all shy and stuff. I really am shy of stage fright.
Born in Arkansas, Little Rock?
No, so I was born in San Antonio, Texas, but I was raised in Little Rock, and that's the place that I was the longest until I moved here to Dallas, Fort Worth when I was 20. Currently, I just graduated nursing school in December, my bachelor's. So right now I'm an administrator, a nurse administrator. That's a new role for me, but for the last 6 years, I've been an entrepreneur. I started my tax office in 2016. And then I've always bartended, so I do parties and stuff like that. And I'm a mom. And now I'm a bar owner, co-bar owner, the whole concept. But yeah, that's a little bit about what I do.
Sound like you still got a lot going on.
I still got a lot going on. It's so much.
That's pretty unique. So the reason we found the JOAT podcast was basically, jack of all trades. There's people out here that's doing some really amazing things, and you have a unique story. I know you originally started out in Little Rock.
Basically, my parents are both military, and my mom went to the Gulf War, so she got sick there. So we went back to North Little Rock, Arkansas. So we started off living with my grandfather, and that was kind of the first time that we stayed somewhere. I think we started in San Antonio, so I was there till I was about 5. Then when I got to Arkansas, we went back to San Antonio for a little while. And then once they got everything together with her health, because they honestly thought that she was going to die, the first couple of years when we got back, because a lot of those people that went to Gulf War got some weird disease or whatever, and which she still
is that
dealing
the
with.
Agent Orange stuff?
No, that's Vietnam.
No, that's Vietnam. Hers it's called sarcoidosis, which is the same thing that Bernie Mac had.
That's what you was talking about. Yeah. I looked it up actually after.
When my mom watched it, she sent me because she saw me pronounce it wrong.
Bro, I think I was just watching an episode of Tiana Trump on their new show, and she had the same thing.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's super crazy.
Tiana Trump had.
I'm not Tiana.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Tiana Taylor. Oh man, don't look at my search history.
Right. Oh my God. And look at it went over my head. I was like, oh, Donald Trump's daughter.
Hey, when I first heard about her, I was like, wait, what? She? His daughter?
Right. Nah, but sarcoidosis is kind of strange because, like you said, your dad had it. Bernie Mac had it. My grandmother on my daddy's side had it. She's passed on now, but I mean that's off the subject.
Was that the conversation though?
What?
This might be the long one. When she came back and
when she came back, it was okay. So she came back, her whole unit, they all kind of had these weird symptoms. So of course she has a diagnosis. However, it comes from whatever they were putting out in the air over there, biological warfare. But of course the military is not saying, oh, we poisoned you. Yeah. So her whole unit, half of them died, like especially the men. And so in the first couple of years, maybe like she ended up getting her disability like 94. So like the first 3 years, it was just like weird. Like I used to literally be like, oh my God, I hope my mom don't die. I mean, because they literally were just like, we don't know what it is, nothing we could do. She had like these weird spots like on her legs. She had like the lungs of a smoker. She had the liver of a drinker. Like it was just all her internal organs. Wow. And then she just chose to live really, and that's been that ever since.
So while in transition, making these moves though, moving around and maneuvering, you wasn't a person that just bounced from job to job. Like even if you did have a job, you were always pushing towards something.
So yeah, it's kind of like that hustling mentality. Like honestly, when I would work, like I always wanted to work. So I immediately I tried to get a job in 8th grade, and I was like, well, I'll be 14 this year, but they wouldn't let me work. But I've always wanted to like, earn money. Yeah. I just like the way it feels to like earn the money and then use it to pay for stuff. So like growing up, I would just work little jobs, odd jobs and stuff like that. But what really kind of propelled me into being like, okay, something has to shake. I moved here, me and my friends, and we actually kind of went through a lot. Like, I know when we first moved here in 2007, it was really bad in Little Rock. So I just kind of came. I was actually doing okay in Little Rock, though. Like, I was getting the GI Bill. I was working like 3 odd jobs. Like, I was going shopping. I had a car. Like, life was good. But I was like, okay, it's cool, but I want more. I won't be doing nothing if I don't leave. Yeah. So I left, and when I got here, it was like me and my friends had an agreement that we would like split the bills, and I would have a month to get myself together. And honestly, when I got here, I don't think we thought about how that looked. The first month you don't have bills. So when I came into the bills, and I mean it was rough. Like I was still making like $8 and $10. We have $1,000 rent, car notes. All this different stuff. So
they came before you?
They came like 30 days before me, literally.
Oh. So how old were y'all then?
20. I was the oldest, and I was going to be 21. I moved here in May. I was going to be 21 in June. So when I got here, literally no money. The first job I had here was in the middle of the mall for Hollywood Video, selling used DVDs.
They got TVs, DVDs.
Used DVDs. And we all had these weird jobs. Like, first I had that job, and I was like, okay. I told the guy one day, because he tried to accuse me of stealing or something. And I was like, this is beneath me, honestly. And I was just like, I called my mom. I was like, listen, if I need you to spot me on the rent, I'm about to leave here, and I'm going to go find me another job, but I'm quitting. So I walked back in. I was like, hey, bro.
What was her response?
My mom always had my back with that kind of stuff. Like, as far as I had a plan, it was never like, let me get some money and I'll pay you back. And I used to actually be offended when she would ask for money back, because I'm like, I'm going to pay you back. So I didn't like that feeling at all. So I was like, okay, well, I have to get away from even that safety net. I do have a really good safety net, but I want to turn around and be like, here you go, So after that day, I left and went to work at Albertsons and Plato's Closet.
Well, you quit on the job?
I quit. I walked in there. I said, sir, I did just like this. I said, I'm about to go. And he was like, where you going? I'm like, I quit. He was like, you quit? Yeah. I was like, because you really kind of got me fucked up, and I just don't.
That's what you said?
That's what I said. I was like, I'm not feeling right. Like
a Caucasian man?
I was.
You ever quit, like, on the spot?
Yep. I quit Family Dollar.
I remember you was working there your freshman year.
Yeah, I quit Family Dollar, man.
And right then, I was just kind of like, nah. But it still took me a minute to get in that place where I was like, fuck working for people, right? So before I left Little Rock, I had got my barber's license. And the idea was like, okay, I'm going to be a barber through college. But it wasn't like my passion. So the first job I had was like at Master Cuts. And I was just in Master Cuts, like, doing shit. Like, because I didn't really learn to cut white people's hair. Yeah. So they coming in there and they're just letting me just chop them up. Like, I'm trying to do eyebrow waxes and all kind of stuff.
They don't be giving a fuck.
They didn't. And it was cool. And that was my first little.
Like, white dudes don't care.
But they tip
They like
better?
put the two. Nah, it wasn't like that. I think I got paid hourly or something.
Yeah, you get paid hourly.
Yeah.
How long was barber
school? They split the tips between
barber school? So barber school should have been like 9 months, but I was a little rebellious. Like, barber school took me like a year and a half. I got suspended twice. Like, it was.
How do you get suspended from barber school?
In there, shout out to New Tyler. But
the best barbers in the game.
It was so fun. Like, barber school's fun. We in there shooting the shit, fighting, and all kind of stuff. So, anyway,
So how many licenses and credentials do you hold?
Well, currently, I'm still a certified pharmacy tech, and I'm a registered nurse with my bachelor's.
And a barber?
I let the barber license go a couple of years ago. I was kind of keeping up with it. I still have it.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I said, when I came here, I thought it was going to be like, oh, yeah, you could just get one of these jobs. like, oh, you could just be a pharmacy tech. But Texas is a lot different from Arkansas. Like, luckily I did get certified, but here in Texas it was just kind of like,
You don't have.
you have to go through all this stuff like school and mostly school. So I ended up linking with the mayor of Fort Worth at church.
Oh wow.
And he got me a job. He got me a job with.
How did
with
that
CVS.
happen?
It was weird. It was really weird, actually, right? So me and my friends, back when we would go to church and stuff, we would go. So we went to this church, and you know how you back then, like, you hadn't been in a while, and everything moves you. So we in there just, I mean, boo-hoo crying because we broke. I mean, we broke.
Going
so we,
through it.
man, we in there broke. So we just crying and stuff. And so the church, the church assigned us.
Y'all caught each other stealing out the offering plate.
Oh no, we definitely had a stealing moment. We
Y'all
didn't
was stealing?
We didn't steal the offering plate. Me and my friends, well, not me and my friends. So the first time, I was that kind of hungry because, you know, naturally you would think, okay, we all broke. Let's like come together and put our resources together. But everybody was kind of like in this, every man for himself. And it's killing me because I'm like, bro, if we just put this money together, like we could drive one car, somebody could buy groceries, like, but nobody's hearing me. Everybody's like out for self. So I had stole me some chicken strips at a Walmart one day, put them in my pants.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm talking about poor, like, for real.
I ain't never stole no food.
Yeah,
I stole a lot of
like
stuff.
I would steal food, and then my other roommate, she would literally call places and tell them that they like messed up her order, and she'd be like, and one time she called this Chinese restaurant.
I still do that.
She was like, hey, she was like, I just came
But
through.
she didn't even order.
She didn't even have nothing. She called and was like, hey, I just came through there and I ordered something, and they just got to going off on her like, we don't even make that. We don't even make and so I think she stopped doing it.
She should have did her research
Right.
first, a little
Then
Look
something.
at the menu.
Man.
Wow.
And then, I'm not going to name anybody, but yeah, then they end up getting caught for like shoplifting food. Like going
That's
through the
That's embarrassing.
going through the going through the youth
Self-check.
stand with,
Oh,
the,
yeah,
with the
yeah,
Kool-Aid
yeah, yeah.
packets. Man, they took them to jail.
Yeah, I had
some
a
Kool-Aid
frat brother got caught in the you know my big my big LB. That nigga got caught, and the police, hey, the little security guard said, he said we can do this the easy way.
I'm telling you, it was rough.
He went
Got
and
banned
walked his
from,
ass to the back.
Pines Mall.
No, I came. I ended up. I was like, I told y'all it's a method to it. You don't just come and get the whole goddamn store. You get you some. You gotta be in survival mode. Like the chicken strips, I can see the chicken strips. I give me a little bag of salad, and that would be my meal. It'd be like 2 chicken strips and a side salad. Like,
How long you was doing that?
shit. Okay, so for the first year we all lived together. Then we separated, and we all got these little mall jobs. So I was a manager at Claire's and a manager at Charlotte Russe. $13, like, with a
For a manager.
for a manager. Yeah. So I did that for a little while. And we all just kind of like went our separate ways and working our little jobs, and people started graduating and all this kind of stuff. And I kind of was stagnant, like in that same little place. And then I ended up having my son, and I was working for the pharmacy. Landon, he's 12 now, but I had him. And then after that, I was just like, okay, I got to really like get on it and really start. You know what I'm saying? So the first job I got, I would get a job, and then somebody else say, I pay this, I pay that, I pay that, and I would just take another job and another job until I finally got to like a reasonable pay. And I did that for so long, but then the last time I worked was 2016. I was working for a company. It was decent, like, you know, but the people weren't intelligent, but they held the higher
Title.
positions. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can't do this either.
Design
Like, I
doing.
cannot work for people that are stupid. So,
they incompetent.
I mean, it literally drained me. I had took off work and was going to like counseling, like, because, yes, I was like, well, it was like fake counseling. It was so I could be off work, but I did talk to the lady until I was stressed out, because I was. So there was like literally like about 5 months where I was like, and it was actually fucking me up. I probably should have seen a counselor, because it was really, even one of my best friends was just like, you are weird now, because I was like losing my mind at work. Like I would, like I was just miserable. Like I'd be at work miserable. I had a miserable boyfriend. Like everything was just miserable.
So how do when you have a toxic relationship, and say like work it should never be like a place where you dread going.
Right.
You should be in
At
a
least
good
sometimes
headspace
you should
and
Bro,
time.
when you
Okay.
young though, like
You should,
ain't nobody really.
It's just
yeah,
me.
but that's what I'm getting to. Like, how do you and this for everybody? How do y'all handle or deal with those situations.
You never been in a toxic relationship, huh?
When you have a bad like leadership at work,
at
and
work.
you're in like a toxic relationship, because like
Me both at the same time, or are you talking about
both at the same time? Because it happens.
was too much.
Yeah.
It was entirely.
And when
too
I say
much.
toxic relationship, I'm not saying necessarily partner.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a roommate, you can have a friend, that somebody that's always
Too much.
around you. You know.
Yeah, it was the breaking point for me, honestly. Like I said, because that was kind of my first. Just even though I had my son and stuff, and I think by this time I had my second son, 2016, because I had my youngest in 2014. So this was like the first relationship that I had kind of like was like, okay, I'm in a different. I think I know me now. Like I'm grown, trying to have like a grown up relationship. I'm talking about moving together and all this stuff,
Right.
and it was just going horrible.
How did y'all meet?
Football. Our kids play football together.
I was like, P, you for like you ever had, like toxic relationship, toxic work environment, like you ever had?
Yeah, I had plenty of, especially when I was doing the industrial painting for about 10 years. I was in a union, and Arkansas is a right to work state, so most of my jobs I had to travel. So I might be on the job for 6 months. It'd be pretty cool. But the next project I go on is a shit show. You know what I mean? But I've always had a strong mentality that I'm gonna live, you know, the way I want to live at some point. So I never really just was down and stuck into the state that I was in. You know what I mean? And I've always made good money doing it, so that was a plus.
But see, the mind frame
Yeah, that was
that you
your
had,
ass up
though,
and go. You was going to Texas, Cali.
Yeah.
Like,
but see, even still having that mind frame, we're like, okay, this is not the end all be all. Because there are some people that are really, they love to work. You know what I mean? They love the 9 to 5, and what what it gives them. Like they like the structure, and like I like structure to a certain extent. Like if I'm gonna be in that, I want some structure. But some people like they don't even. As long as the 9 to 5 is set up and all that, like they're there. Nothing ever really crossed their mind. Like I'm
There's
unhappy
more,
because of this
yeah.
job. I should leave this job. Like that's not the first thing that crossed their mind. See, for me, once I just took that step that time, like I was just kind of like, okay, there's no reason that I should, for one, even shouldn't care about this shit. Like I should be able to leave work here and go home and have a good life. But it was like there were a lot of things like they weren't letting me. One lady was like, okay, she was going to work around my child care thing, right? So I'm working around it. But then the other one's literally making it hard. Like every time I'm leaving to go get the kids to take them to the next situation and come back to work, she's marking me tardy. So now I have 40 tardies where I've already arranged it. So it's just like stupid stuff. Like, you know that that's the arranged time for me to go get my kids. So it's just like stuff like that. And so when I just decided like, okay, I'm not doing this no more. At that point, I was like, I'll do any odd job with the mindset that I'm just doing this to get
It's a
where I want to be.
stepping stone.
Yeah, so like I left there and I did like a couple of warehouse jobs, and then I went to started looking into taxes. And originally I thought that everybody in Texas made money. Like I thought you worked for the tax office and you make money. So that was a reality check. So I started.
Government job.
Huh?
Yeah, most of them are government
No,
jobs.
but here in Texas, it's a lot of independent tax services.
Yeah.
Like you hardly go to the Jackson Hewitt. So I started working for a guy. He's really successful or whatever, over 800 clients type of thing, like super successful. So I'm working for him.
800 clients is like a
That's ridiculous.
That's,
like, if you think
that's
about,
a big business.
Like, and you think about what they're charging. They're charging anywhere from $600 to $1,000 for the return, and then they're getting software fees that they have negotiated with the software company. So up front, throughout the year, in 4 months, you're getting like $250,000
That's what
at the minimum.
I didn't know how
And
people
on the
make
back
their
end,
money on that.
you're getting another 50,000. That's higher end people. Like for me, my revenue is a little less than that, of course, but I keep it small for a reason. Like because I have a very like my clients call me, so it's like I don't want to be talking to 400 people on the phone. So the little 100 people that I kind of rotate in and out, because that's kind of where the number stays, I'm having to talk to them on the phone, so I can't take on any more. So I like it like that. But anyway, I worked for him, and I actually earned what would have been like $16,000 in like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
But my check was like $2,000.
Wow.
because
What
he was
they
he
do-
paying you hourly?
So what they
or-
do is they have a split. So when you come to work for them, you don't get any of the back end fees. You get a percentage of what you charged. So here, I don't know any better. I'm charging people like $150 and $200, and I'm only getting 40% of that.
Oh wow.
So I'm doing taxes, and once I do and I ended up having 40 people my first year, and that's a living. Like 40 people, you can chill for months if you charge
Do it
the way
right,
they do.
yeah.
So I'm charging people $100 and $150, and I'm thinking because I'm thinking I'm getting the whole front end. We didn't even discuss it. So then one of the guys was like, "Hey, you do know how the payout works, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I get what I charge on the front. He get the back." They was like, "No, you get a piece of what you charge in the front." No, that's when I realized, like, damn, I'm not charging nothing. So for all those 40 people, I end up getting like, I swear, like 2,000. I had to like argue with him to get all of my money.
But
And
but you argued with him to get the rest of your money. But what, were you more upset that he didn't explain the
no, I wasn't.
the
You
way
know, I
it
really,
works?
honestly, wasn't even mad about it because it come with the game. I didn't ask no questions. I didn't even know to ask any questions. So it's like, yes, character-wise, I didn't like him. I did not like him. When I would work for him, he would do little, like, because I was learning so fast. So he thought when people come to work for you, they have a lot of questions. You're typically doing the work for them. They're just bringing the people, so you make money off of them. He wasn't doing that. I was researching literally how to do each of my clients' taxes and what
so
goes
you was
into it.
just representing the agency.
Yeah,
right?
so
How
I'm-
did you get to working for him though? How did that?
It was an
comes
ad. It was like you remember I told you I was doing odd jobs, so it was like a reception ad or something. Then when I came in, he was kind of like, "Oh, do you want to do taxes?" And I'm like, "I guess." And that's kind of how that started. Just happened by chance. Like I just was looking, like I said, for odd jobs. Anything on Indeed that called me, I was pretty much going to the interview.
Oh, wow.
So long story short, I kind of seen how he did business, and I was immediately like, nope. And so another girl I brought on, she was like, we could do this ourselves. I was like, we really could. And I just sat down one day in the computer and just looked up kind of all the things you need. And through the summer, got with, it was probably like 4 or 5 pieces of information that you need, and fingerprints and like all this different little background stuff. And by November, I had the my own service, which is an online service. So I don't have a tax office. I have a tax preparation
Which is still
online
pretty
service.
much ran like a tax.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I do, they use an app, and like I said, I have a lot of contact with them. So whether they want to text me the stuff, if they're comfortable with it, or they want to email it, but I have a secure app where they put their information in, and I typically give them a return back in under an hour.
How do people reach you, like to get in contact?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I have a webpage. It's apthetaxlady.com. And then even on Facebook, like I have the webpage and stuff set up, but people still are always in my personal inbox. Aliya Postell.
You do referral fees?
I
Like if send
don't
somebody to
typically. And so this is the thing. I would love to, but I'm already showing so much love on prices. Like I don't
Yeah.
charge people anything really, because what I tell people, as opposed to some of the larger companies and who they're dealing with, and I'm not hating on nobody, but it's a dirty game. Like it's a dirty game. You can get rich in it if you don't have that type of integrity. I feel like I have, because I have the average worker that comes to my tax office. They work, 40 hours. They're making anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000. Simple tax returns where they went to work, they paid their taxes, and that's literally like all I'm doing. And then my people with their side businesses and helping make sure that they're doing the right things and giving tax advice, and people that just really don't know what to do. So some of these other companies, what they're doing, they get people that got 3-4 kids that didn't work, and they're just like, I'll throw you something together. Mm-hmm. I don't take those kind of clients. Like I don't even deal in it because it's risky, and then those clients give you a headache.
So what would be the benefit of, like, say somebody that's making $50,000, just one job or 2 jobs, they making $50,000-$60,000. What's the benefit of coming to you versus going to just doing it themselves?
That's a good question.
TurboTax.
That's a good question. So what people don't realize is that the way the softwares are, the free software is not intended to give you the maximum refund. Now, every now and then you literally can compare it, and I will. Like when people come to me and I kind of see it, I'm like, well, let me just run the numbers. If you're getting the same, if it's somebody that really knows what they're doing, I'm like, hey, let me run the numbers. If it's the same thing, then the only reason you would come to me is to get an advance on your taxes. Mm-hmm. I will give you a loan on your taxes. So you're literally just paying for the service to get in advance, because around Christmas people need money and stuff. So that's one of the benefits of following me. The other one, like I said, it's stuff in the software that's not in free software. So when you go on like the H&R Block and all this kind of stuff, there are things that they're not intended to, even the IRS.
Benefit you.
The IRS is not intended to benefit you. The IRS wants to keep as much money as they can. That's why I feel like you don't do your taxes. Like the IRS will, if they do them for you, they take away all of those like credits and all that kind of different stuff, because they're like, you can do that with a tax preparer. So that's like the benefit. And I really actually look into it and say, here's some other things that you could do. Like people have businesses. Some people don't realize almost anything you do is a business. Now, I can't tell you that when I'm doing your taxes. You know, I can't be like, hey, do you cut hair or do you, it's not like that. But if you know that you possess a business, you can do business, you know, because that's, if you make
You
money
don't
off
have
of it.
like a list of
I need somebody to start doing
List
my
of
shit. I've been
kids.
doing turbo
No, I don't
tax
got no
again.
list of kids.
Fuck those.
Yeah, I've been doing.
I ain't got no refund
And
about
see, the
4
thing
years.
with turbo too, well, see, that's the other thing too. People with taxes, what they don't realize, typically you're gonna get in what you paid in. There's really no reason to mess with the back numbers.
I
and
think
stuff.
like, cause I've always bartended, and like
That's a write off.
it's a write off, but like I said, when I was bartending at Top Golf and shit, like, you know, like everybody ain't putting their tips in. They you might get $200 a night. You gonna put $5 whatever.
Right.
Whoop. So I got a full-time job, so I see, oh, you supposed to get $1,500 back on TurboTax. Then I put my other bartending job
Do you
in.
have children?
No.
So that's another thing. That's a misconception that people have. Because I have a guy. He DJs or something, and he's always like, "Hey, I need you to do my taxes," and it's like, you are not going to get anything.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing that generates.
That's what I have. Nothing to. I have.
So it's not
yeah.
even about write-offs, because people think that they're like, I can write off gas. There are only 3 things that generate a refund, and that is education. So that means you went to school, so you have a form, and you can get a tax credit.
Yeah,
right?
for paying for
So
school.
education, children, and taxes paid in. That's it. Like,
That's it.
That's literally it. You carrying a dependent or paying in taxes. So if you're somebody that is an entrepreneur and you didn't pay in no taxes, there's no chance of a refund. There's nothing that can.
So
create
that's why they always wipe out my shit that I get from
Yeah, and they
my
just-
state, like my full time
Yes,
job, because
yes,
the
yes.
bartender should just. I promise.
That's
like,
just money
that shit
earned. They
kill
don't
me.
get. Yeah. And there is a form.
They
for
shouldn't
that.
tax that shit. though.
Well, there's a form for that. So that's another thing people don't realize. When you work in a job like, so there's certain forms in the software. That's another thing. Because TurboTax is not going to say, oh, you know what, this is better filed on this form.
So these forms that a lot of people won't know, like how do you come up in?
You have to research this stuff.
So
Like,
you
but
done
they're
a-
in your software.
Oh.
So like
okay.
with bartending.
So it's on you, basically.
Yeah, it's on your because your taxpayer could just be doing anything. But there's a form called 4137 for people that work jobs that they don't pay taxes into. So you have your W-2s or your 1099s. Well, not a W-2 because if you have W-2, but like a 1099 job. And what happens with that 4137 is that you get a little bit of a break because you can it's like a Medicare, Social Security. I'm out the loop right now, but it's some kind of form that basically you go on there and you claim the tips on there, and you get more of a break because they're like, okay, this was a job work. This was not necessarily because some people they'll go in and claim their money without a form. They just go like on a Schedule C and say I was a bartender. But if you actually worked for a company, you can go on that form and put those tips in, and you'll get a break on the self-employment tax.
Yeah, I say it ain't no big thing. I
It's
just
just
hate
different
paying in because I ain't tripping about breaking even. It's just when you always
Right.
gotta pay in.
You can break in. You can pay in. I mean, you can break even if you leverage your full-time job. Like you can actually elect to
Like
pay
have them
more
take
taxes,
more taxes.
and then it'll.
That shit
balance.
don't work
But
either because
I
my
wouldn't
shit
wanna do that.
commission based. So
Yeah. But yeah, so that was a tax game, and I was doing that to go to school. So I was going to school for my associates in healthcare administration, and I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna do something with this. But then when I got my associates, I found out all the entry level jobs were exactly what I was already getting paid. They were like
What you were getting paid to do taxes?
to be a certified pharmacy tech, the job that I quit.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I went and got a degree to get paid $18. Like that makes no sense. Even though it's an associate's, it's still like, but you have to pick the right industry. You know.
that's the thing because a lot of people go to school or you go chasing a certification or a degree uneducated, not knowing. Just the real. Everybody thinking you're gonna go to college and get a degree and make money, and a lot of this shit you got to really elevate.
Yeah.
To
Like
start
the
making
biggest
decent
joke,
money
honestly,
on that.
I'm not gonna say joke, but the biggest scam is like a business degree, right? You do learn a lot to get your business degree. You learn so much.
It's vast as fuck though.
Yeah, but then you really have to pick something to do with the business degree. Like you need to pick
An
a focus.
emphasis, yeah.
Yeah, because you will learn a lot. Like even with the healthcare administration degree, I took some accounting classes. I learned a lot about accounting, but when that on the other side, that degree does not say anything to anybody. Like they're like, I took code and
just
billing
business.
and everything, and it's like.
So I was talking about this with my wife just a couple weeks ago. So when people go to school, they get their degree, and then right after they get their degree, what do? They get another degree. So I was telling her, I was like, it really don't benefit people who go to school to get a bachelor's degree and turn around and get their master's degree. It don't really benefit them.
Because they're going to be overeducated and ain't going to
it
have the
just
work
depends on the
experience.
industry.
Ain't gonna have no work experience.
It definitely
So
depends on the
you
industry.
can really obtain your bachelor's or associate's, whatever it is.
Go work
to
for a year or two.
Get that experience. Then while you're doing that, obtain that bachelor's.
So-
Find a fucking
so
job to pay
there's-
for this shit.
Well, there's
Yeah.
different. So there's different industries, right? Like I used to do my research because at first, when I actually even got interested in college, like in my senior year, I'm like, okay, I'm just online, like, okay, what can pay? So like, for
You just
instance,
looking for the
people
money.
just looking for money at first, and that really was what it was. I was like, I have zero passion. Like I just want some money.
Sound like you had a lot of passion though.
Passion for money.
That was literally.
But a lot of people act like they got a passion for money though, but they don't go and do research and
Right.
like
They do
she's
diligence,
done.
yeah.
You know, even with the tax business, like you can just get the software and just get some customers.
Because
That's true.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
you
But
find,
all-
you find people. It's a bunch of nurses right now that like shit. They make good money, but they fucking tired of this shit. You know
But
what I'm
you know,
saying? Like you gotta.
There is that, right? So I got lucky to be an administrator as soon as I did, right? But even in my classmates, like some of them were like, dang, what
I
do
was
you do?
gonna ask you because you said you was administrator, but you got your BSN
Yeah.
in nursing, but you got your associates in
healthcare administration.
So yeah, they help you out.
Yeah, and then all my jobs, like, and then I learned in the industry when I went to get my first nursing job, like how they read resumes. Because I was intimidated at first because I didn't do the
So you
CNA.
learn how they read resumes.
Like how they read them, like
Yeah,
how
how
they
did-
read into them.
The pertinent information.
Like what
on
they
the
take from it,
resume.
even though,
Yeah.
because I ended up on my first nursing interview, I didn't take my resume. I was super duper intimidated because I'm like, I didn't CNA, I didn't tech, I didn't do nothing. But I used to try to always make pharmacy tech kind of relate to it, but it's just
Related.
Medical
not.
field job. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first interview, like the guy got on me, he was like, "You need to always bring a resume," and I'm like,
You just showed up.
yeah, but in my mind, I was kind of like, I didn't tell him the truth, but I was thinking like the only reason I didn't, I always bring a resume, but the only reason I didn't because I'm like, what are we gonna say on it? Like, what are we gonna talk about? So when he told me to email it to him, and he started going through it, and he was like, he just started throwing stuff out at me, and I'm like, oh dang, okay, your girl is qualified. Like he was like, I see a lot of leadership on here, so I know that you'll be able to deal with the doctors, and I see that you had some the bar industry, and I mean and I'm like, oh, and it even taught me because now I interview people and stuff, so I look for different things, but I was like, oh, okay, so anyway, so where was I at?
Resumes. We was talking about that's how you learned how to read resumes. I think a lot of people don't know what they looking for in certain
I hate
resumes.
They just
Resumes.
throw
I hate
stuff up.
files,
Yeah.
on,
Just throw-
But really, resumes it's not really just job oriented. You can build a resume off of volunteer service.
Volunteer
Yeah,
services,
and that was another piece on
extracurricular
mine.
activities.
Extracurricular
just,
activities.
like,
Because of nursing
people
school,
wanna see
you
what
have
you
to
got
do
going on.
so much like volunteer work. And I don't know if all the schools, like my school, it's a private school, and they did a lot of research. It's called West Coast University. It's a private school, and so they did a lot of research on like I feel like comparing it to what the business needs with it being like a private school because they base themselves on, well they pride themselves
on like,
us getting jobs,
after,
and
yeah.
us passing the NCLEX and stuff like that. So we had literally like mandatory stuff like every term. I mean, nursing school was like literally for real one of the mentally the hardest thing I've probably ever done. It was so much because I went there like, trying to elevate, but it was just so much. Like,
And you had 2 kids at the time.
I had 2 kids.
Were you working still?
I was bartending. Yep, I was bartending
and
doing
nursing
taxes.
school.
So that was, and I would literally be in class with the software doing taxes in class. Like,
So nobody out there should have an excuse, huh?
no, there's no excuses. That's why I kind of don't. As long as you're not trying to help yourself, because the thing about me, I did have help. My mom moved here in 2018 to stay with me for me to have for me not to be able to not have to I can't get it out. So I wouldn't have to take my kids to like a before school program and an after school program. And then one of my best friends, she's her godmom, so she always is there anytime. Like, hey, can you grab them real quick or whatever? So, but I have that help, I feel like, because I'm willing to help myself. People don't want to help you if you're not trying to help yourself. So I had already had all planned out in my head, like, hey, mom, can you come here? This is how I want to do it, and there was things I felt like I owed her and did for her. Like, you don't have to worry about anything, or I'll do this and I'll do that. And a lot of people didn't understand the arrangement. They had their ideas about the arrangement, but it was what we discussed and it worked out.
Do you think a lot of the moving around that you did early on help you in networking, like when you moved to Dallas? Because it seemed like you brushed a lot of shoulders and it landed you in some good opportunities to build relationships with people, and
Maybe naturally, you know what I'm saying, I probably picked that skill up from always being the new girl. So even though I was just saying I'm shy, like I'm not, people don't assume I'm shy. They don't think I'm shy because I am social. I'm more so like, for real, it's like an awkward social. Like I talk more because I'm nervous. Like, so
Oh, really?
I'll just talk to anybody for the most part. And so when I first got here, no, it didn't help much. Like I think I was in the wrong area to start because all I was doing, I had no exposure. All I was doing was going to work and maybe getting out sometimes. I didn't really explore Dallas for what it is. I was here in 2007. I really didn't even start getting out until like 2016.
Damn.
Like
That's
I
a
went
long
out.
time, Leah. I don't
No,
know.
what I mean by that, listen what I'm saying. I went out. I traveled. Me and my friends had parties and stuff like that. But when I started, 2015, I'm sorry. When I started working at Mickey's in Grand Prairie, that was kind of like when I really started seeing us. Like I really didn't see black people every day, all day. Like moving to Grand Prairie in Arlington was like the best part of moving here. Cause I was like, dang, where is everybody? Like, and then, you know what I'm saying? I'm like meeting.
Where they at?
I was like, this is weird. Like, I'm not meeting people our age. Like, I'll see them in passing and I'll see them at the club. And I'm like, where do they be?
That's real for an introvert though, because like I'm an introvert as well, and I moved out here.
I'm not an introvert.
Well, I am. Yeah. So I was bartending, so I met a couple people there, but like I didn't fool with them outside of work. So if I wanted to go somewhere or do something, I was by myself.
Yeah.
But luckily, I had like
real friends come here.
Yeah, like James was here, and then like Tori came.
No,
right
now
down
this
here.
is
So
one thing
then
about
you got
it.
people who in the mix.
One thing about me,
people and shit.
It's different for me. Like to be a friend is one thing, but for me, like I will gain an associate in a minute. Like I'll be at work and we'll know each other for 2 days, and we're at the club like this weekend. Like
it's different for dudes.
That's really weird because most of the times women be more rough on making friends.
See, women be fake though.
Yeah, but
like they'll act like
dudes,
but they really they have a motive.
Men not exchanging numbers with dudes like, oh yeah, we gonna kick like you.
Well, see, I think, and I tell my
I do though.
I don't.
I exchange information and make contact.
Yeah,
with
now
that's what I gotta get better
way
at.
more.
Yeah.
I do that way more
don't
now.
talk to-
Like I'll be places, especially with the restaurant opening. I literally be at the bar like, girl, you make a good drink. What's your number? And
Let's
like
talk
I just
about
do
that,
that. But with friendships, like it took me a couple of years, like I said, when I moved to Grand Prairie, and my only new friend here was my friend Keisha. We became friends like in 2010. Before that, all the friends I had, I kind of met when I first got here. Like all my little homegirls, like it was like the first couple of years. But then for a long time, I didn't have like new friends. But I like people from the job I'd be cool with, or school or something, and like we'd be super cool. But it was like there's a level to it. Like I can be friends with you in this moment that we have, and then it'll be like it never existed with no hard feelings. Yeah. So that's how I am. Like I'll just acquire like an associate. But now I tell them like I really have quality people that I meet, and we actually become friends. And it's been over the last couple of years. Like my bartending family, my Facebook family, like whatever. It's just it builds, and it be so crazy. Like I don't even think about it. Like dang, you ain't known this person that long, because I feel like I do a really good job in filtering. There's somebody that I could be friends with just as easy as the people that I end up friends with. That it just never happens. Like it never catches on. Like you cool, but you're not my cup of tea.
So you working with 2 kids at the time. So let me ask, do you reach out to young adults that you see, and like give them just that
so in a
advice?
different way. I don't do it like on this outreach type stuff, but in the bar industry I work with a lot of girls that are younger than me, and I mean I'm always pouring into them. Like I'm going off on them or pouring into them. Like girl,
so what's the number one, what's the best advice that you give them
that I have given? I'll just say the general advice I give, because a lot of the women I meet are single moms. Like they're single moms that are dealing with like a dad that's not doing something, or a dad that's absent for many different reasons, or they're kind of just that primary parent. And I just tell them like, you just got to get over it. You just have to do it. Like the moment you start doing it, like, and I feel like that with money. I feel like that with, I guess that's kind of like a form of manifestation, like they say, because I feel like if you just decide that you're going to do it, that's all there is to it. Like, and it sounds simple, but that's literally how I feel. Like, if you decide that there's something you want to do, just start the process.
Yeah, the first thing is to stop.
Just,
And then when you stop, just don't quit.
yeah, just,
That's the difference between people that are successful and people that just sit around and talk about it.
just start.
Just
Like,
don't.
I've had people that are like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go back to school for this. Like, girl, just sign up. Like, because at the end of the day, there's these things with people are always talking about the risks and stuff. And it's like the risk be so minimal because you're talking about some debt. Like,
There's
I hear
risk in
people,
everything.
there's risk in everything. Like, the
Everything.
people that are so afraid of, like, school loan debt. It's like, I know I had quite a bit of school loan debt. And, I mean, to me, it's like, okay, here's $150 to that towards a month. I mean, and
but-
I'm going to be making so much money. Just pay the loan or whatever.
But people don't even look at it like you named the most successful person that went to college, a doctor, anybody. They have those student
They
loans
still
too.
got $250,000 and
They
paying
yeah.
$200
That's
on
why,
this shit.
social
And just
media-
pay a little
Just
money on it and go
just pay it
on.
on time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What you was finna say, P?
I was just saying that's like how social media is like bittersweet.
Yes.
Like when you get
Because
locked out on Facebook.
People want the life that they see people live,
Live.
but people don't realize the process that it took for them to get there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So they
Instant
can be broke
gratification.
looking around like
Instant
I'm eating noodles every
gratification.
night, but the people that they see on social media, they eat noodles too.
It's
until they
instant
grind it
gratification.
out.
Everybody don't believe in that grind. They want
But
to
even-
start something and hit like make
Yeah.
100,000 a month.
Yeah, and see, but even with me, right? When I look at, because when it comes to it, like when you get the money and stuff, because literally, like they say, more money, more problems. Because okay, at the time, I was doing so much with my little $18. Like I was paying my rent, my car notes,
Tricking.
you know, and then I'm getting more money and more. What you say? What did you say?
I said it ain't tricking and you got it.
Boy, shut up. So I'm, you know, as I'm getting more, every time I get a little bit more, I'm spending a little more. I have no problem with it, but I'm like, even when I was talking to a realtor not too long ago about my income, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like
How
I
much
make,
you, yeah.
and I mean, and I'm not living no lavish life. I'm not even trying to. I'm always going to be kind of like a simple person. I like to travel and do kind of like big things for the kids for like their birthdays and stuff like that, or go all out for mine. But
Speaking on big things, you working on a project right now, right?
mm-hmm.
What's going on with that? What's up?
So I'm about to open a bar and grill restaurant type of thing, right?
What's the name of it?
It's called ESO Mimosa Bar, and we do have an Instagram now. ESO.
Ooh,
Mimosa
ESO.
Yeah. So how that came about? So I've been in the bar industry for 6 years, 7 years, really longer than that, but consistently for like 6 or 7 years. So my friend, she had a little like a kind of like she does her food like a ghost kitchen. Like she works out of a kitchen, but she's a chef and she does parties. And
Man,
catering.
those are
You was just
crazy
when you just tell me
popular.
about that, somebody was doing
Yeah.
something
Now,
in
she
the back
doesn't
of
actually
Chili's.
do
So,
a
yeah.
ghost kitchen, but she's actually working out of a kitchen when they on their off hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Not to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but Chili's. I went to Chili's, and Chili's has this thing called it's just wings or something like that. But it's Uber that's buying up Uber Eats, buying up buying space in the kitchen, and they're making like other places in different businesses and
Yeah.
franchises and stuff.
And then they have ones where you actually can go, which is super smart because some people are chefs and some people just kind of want a line of food. They don't necessarily want to deal with the overhead and the customers and stuff like that. So you can order their food through the ghost kitchen,
Wow.
and they just they'll handle the delivery and all of that kind of stuff, and you just make your food, and all you have to worry about is
I got it curbside.
Yeah.
But it was in the Chili's. I'm like, when did Chili's start doing wings? He's
Yeah.
like, no, it's not Chili's. I was like, okay.
that's
And
too
the
funny.
wings was good though.
Yeah.
They were good.
Yeah.
So her ghost kitchen.
So she does that, and so originally she was doing caterings, and so she started working out of the bar workout, and I was helping her kind of with like some management stuff, and she had expressed that she wanted a restaurant, and so I was like, okay, well, it was kind of a different, we had talked about some different stuff because we were both just like, dang, we doing different things. Like even at this time, I'm just fresh out of nursing school. I'm like, I have to do something, and so I was saying like I wanted to get a bar and do like a food truck lot, and I had the perfect building. I mean, the building is perfect. Like it was like the side had like this huge opening, and then the back was just enough, and it was really cute. It was like really like coffee shop looking. So I was gonna do like the inside of the bar, and then have she was going to get a food truck, people get their food trucks and do it like that. And, you know, the new laws with COVID, you don't have to have a kitchen to have a bar. You can partner with a food truck. So that was kind of the first idea, right? So as I'm working this between her and between the guy that owns the bar, Mickey's, Phil, shout out to my bestie.
I can feel.
But yeah, so Phil, I end up telling him my ideas. So all these people are like, oh yeah, I want to invest. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get partnerships and all this kind of stuff. And so Phil's like, I had another building because my friend is a commercial realtor. Her name is Tanya. And she's a super good realtor. So she starts bringing me all this stuff and all these ideas. I had literally no not what I'm trying to say. I had no plans on doing this big, huge restaurant type of thing, right? I was just kind of like, I want to do something else. That's me, like just one more thing. And he ends up saying, why don't you get that other building she showed you? And it was this huge 6,100 square foot building. So it's like an end cap, big building, big parking lot. I'm like, I can't afford that. Now at the time, we're thinking that the rent is like this one number, right? We're like, damn, I can't afford that. But it's even double that damn number, actually. But at the time, you know, she's telling me like, this is all you have to do. So now I'm head in. I don't care what happens. Like, I don't care who wants to be a partner. I don't care who is in with me because I done went too far now.
You got your eyes set on that.
Now you done said it. So I done did a business plan. Never had done a business plan. I sat here and do this whole business plan with all this. With all this research, you have to like figure out like how you compare to the places in the area, the people, the ages, and what you can bring, and all this kind of stuff. So I'm doing that. I'm working with the realtor. I'm working with the landlords, and they're really pushing for it because they're trying to do an entertainment district in Arlington. It's already called the entertainment district, but it's been kind of, they're really trying to make it be, because, you know, they were kind of like, before they brought the liquor into Arlington, there was nothing over there. And then we got the Cowboy Stadium. I'm right. You can see the Cowboy Stadium from my building.
Wow.
That's why the rent double.
Man, they know what it's going to do. So, yeah, so we're in this super crazy area, and things just start kind of falling into place. Like, I got a new partner, and he was really passionate about it, and it was just like, my contractor was really passionate about it, and now it's just been kind of rolling, and it's like, it's still not really like a reality, although I signed the dotted line and everything.
I would say
it's just like,
what you showed, you got the flows up, you got the little
right now we have a lot of orchestration.
That was like,
so y'all seen the place?
Yeah.
I mean, she posted it. I mean, she just did like a brief walkthrough, but man, that motherfucker gonna be shit. I'm be making a trip over there.
Yeah.
So you need an extra bartender?
What phase of construction are you in now?
We have put in a couple of like seating platforms. We pulled up the old floors. We got really lucky because this used to be a place called Rio Mamba. You can still look up the old layout, like Rio Mamba Ballpark or something. And so they left a lot of stuff in the building. Like there's like a lot of nice lighting. We already have a bar. The bathroom's already built out. The kitchen's already built out. We got grease traps. We got the hood.
So that helped you out.
Like like this, what would have been maybe a $300,000 job that we wouldn't even touched is probably going to cost us in the five figures. So
That's what's up.
Are you gonna let Joe do a episode?
Yeah, give us a podcast station. Yeah, give us
Oh, y'all have a stage?
We have a stage. We have 2 huge patios. We got we built like these like little platforms, like our VIP booths, because the idea is it's a mimosa bar, so it'll be a brunch spot with a nightlife. We're gonna be open from 11 a.m. to midnight during the week, and then 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. on the weekends. Trying to do everything. I'm actually looking for someone to do our kind of like our social media campaign.
To be in charge of the girls.
To take it. To do our social media campaign and like kind of put us out there and do all that kind of stuff. So I know people watch. Like we need that person to just do that.
I got you somebody.
Yeah, because I like you know the internet flyers and like all that kind of stuff. Like I do a lot. I'm doing so much. I'm doing permits and
he knew what he was doing. Partner,
no, you doing that shit every week though and shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot having to put different shit together.
And then I just took on this full-time job because I'm like, okay, I'm spending a lot of my own personal money. Let me get a job. And then in the job, I turned out I'm the boss. I'm a boss at the job, so I'm like, so I'm talking to the CEO every day, and he's like, "This is what we gotta do." And this is so now I'm recreating his business, and I'm sitting here like, "This is a lot." Like I'll talk to y'all after 5, but it keeps me going though, because I am somebody that has to be busy. Because I'm telling you, for 6 years, I would wake up just in time to go to the bar, go out of town. Like,
That's
I
how
really wasn't
That's
doing
how
shit.
bartending life
I wasn't doing
is.
nothing.
Like, bro,
Wow.
you literally wake up
And I was like, this is not me. Like,
at 6 o'clock.
what ended
go
up
bartend.
right. What ended up kind of turning things around for me. I was laying in bed probably for about a month straight, could not sleep at night, just for no reason. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't sleep. Like, I just be sitting there and I'm like, okay. And a little voice in my head was like, okay, every time you can't sleep, why don't you just write down some goals?
Can you tell us or show us how that voice sound when you hear it?
It was like, write the goals down. Nah, but I would be like, and I'd be sitting there, cause you know how like it's one of them things like all your potential. I actually realized my potential, cause people you have to in this industry, like when I'm at the bar and stuff. I got to talking to some people, and I guess they didn't realize what I do or whatever. But they will speak so much life into you. They're like, "Girl, you so what?"
Especially drunk.
Man,
No, but I've gotten jobs. Like I've
the
gotten
most
jobs.
positive.
You'd be surprised how many bartenders get jobs off just
Yeah.
talking to guests. You know what I'm saying? Or just like different shit.
one
like
of our cooks,
like-
he stays putting my head up, but he's like, "You're a phenomenal woman. You the Renaissance woman."
he Mexican,
Girl,
ain't he?
no, he is black.
He old.
Mr. Monday, no,
How old is he?
That's a
Mr.
great
Monday.
place to
I bet he 45.
no, Monday old, Monday like 60.
Exactly. That's
But
them
you know what?
old
This
dudes
is,
like
I get that a lot with these older men. Like they be like, "Now you a lady." And I'm like, "Shit."
They
These
go
young boys like,
sweet, sweet talk it. They go sweet. I knew he was old.
So, what's your
Shit.
ideal man, Leah? Ideal.
Man,
Nah, nah, come on
God. I don't know. You know, I really honestly think I am so so easy to get along with. I think I'm easy to talk to. If you just talk, because I'm one of the people like I do.
But he didn't ask you what
I'm
type
just
of
saying
person
though.
you
So
are.
a man that just be like, he just could be cool.
She just posted the other day. She knows she gonna be the breadwinner.
I
She just need a man.
with a fun job that he could be proud of.
No, that he can be proud of, or that you can be proud
Both
of.
of us. I want to be proud too.
You want to be proud of his
See, that's
job?
my thing with the guys that I've dated, right? For one, this I don't know if it's a generational thing, but people have actually flat out asked me for stuff. That kind of bothers me because I'm a giver anyway. So if I kind of like see it, I'm not going to just sit up here and fund you. Like if you're not a go-getter, I'm going to act broke too. If you broke, I'm broke, and we probably not going to work. But I'm a giver. Like I would try to actually feed into the dream. Like if I feel like you really can do something and like you're trying to work towards it and like you need like $500 like just to do this and you don't have it, I'm like,
They're gonna take as much as you give.
but I'm also not a dumb. I'm not gonna give it. Like I have. There's a quality to it. Like I have to know that you really are going to do what you say and honor it and all that kind of stuff. So I hardly ever get the chance to give. Like maybe
So
a
if you
gift
could
here and there.
build a nigga,
I
tell
don't
us.
want to build any more niggas.
If
I've
you
done enough
could.
charity work.
I'm saying if you could,
If I
create a
could.
player.
So are we starting with looks or does that matter?
Yeah, sure.
Or-
That's the first thing anyway.
okay. So
Anybody looking to get with a lid? This
nah,
what you
first
gotta
of
look
all,
like.
no, I don't think
Well,
my man
them-
is in Texas.
Them
Like-
Cowboys gonna be
I
in
ain't
and
say he
out.
was in Texas.
Oh, the Cowboys
This
players.
this
They too
nationwide.
young. That's another thing. I realize I'm getting older, and the freaking like NFL players and stuff are getting younger.
Okay, so start with
you-
age.
So you want
What's your age range?
Okay, so I'm 35.
No, I ain't,
So
I ain't worried about you.
so
What
I-
you looking for?
Age range?
Yeah.
I really don't want them to be like under 30.
So
But
can't be
30
under
is
30.
super young. Like when
31
you 30,
and up.
when you 30, like you really gotta be. You gotta be like
31 and
you
up.
can't be
Guys start maturing by the time they start like turning 28, 29.
Boy, bye. Anyway,
They
go
do.
ahead.
So, okay, 31 and up. Complexion.
I like all shades of men. I'm
You
really
gotta
White men?
You're creating a player right now.
You said all shades?
all shades of melanin. But what tends to happen is, which lately I've been liking light skinned guys, but I love me a dark skinned man, right? So what I tend to do is I like a guy for his personality, honestly, first, right? So I'm liking him, and then the whole time I'm with him, I'm like, damn, he fine. I got a wandering eye. I'm a big flirt, so
She said she talked to anybody.
I don't talk to no damn anybody.
You said you'll talk to anybody. You make associates. You said I'll just talk to
I
anybody.
know, but not like any guy. Sometimes you got to be careful with the conversation
All
with
right.
guys.
You gotta
Anyway,
be
my
black.
thing is,
You gotta be
You have
31.
you have to be someone that wants more for yourself, or if you have whatever you have to actually be content with it. Like some people do things, like I said, they hate their jobs and stuff. I can't be with somebody that hates a job and still a go, or that break their back for something that like is not serving
But
them.
shit, if you can hate your job making $250, shit, you gonna be like, shit, I'm gonna go get this shit.
But be working on something else. $250,000, you could be making a new job.
Yeah.
So I don't like
You
people
can
that
hate
don't.
your job
that
and
don't
still
like
go
to,
that
that
motherfucker
don't
because it's still
resource.
paying the bills.
Can he be your height?
Not for long. Like that ain't.
What you mean? Ain't nobody growing no more? What you mean?
I'm saying that ain't gonna really. It really depends. Like I have met some really manly men that are like short, and I'm like, it don't even matter that you short, like, cause you give off so much. Not even like that little man syndrome, but like really just I really like a manly man, like a man that can actually fix something, that knows how to like build stuff and stuff like that.
Them niggas got left in the 80s.
What?
Nah, you know what? Shout out to Arkansas. I feel like if I was still in Arkansas, I'd be married.
For real?
I swear to God, yes. I used to actually date in Arkansas. Quality dates, although it was a lot of fuck boys there. But I know, like, as we're growing and stuff, and I'm seeing a lot of people, like, being more serious about their relationships and stuff, they actually have the qualities, though. They always had the qualities.
I feel like Arkansas, I live in Texas. Y'all still in Arkansas. But, like, Arkansas is, like, real, like, southern men, though.
Yes.
Because you're going to be hospitable. You're going to be a gentleman. When you want to be. When you want to be. Because you still got guys. If somebody's, like, if you.
Different types, different areas.
It's all different types. But I feel like just the guys I'm around, you gonna be a gentleman. You southern. You gonna know how to fix some shit, or you know somebody that can fix some shit. Like,
right. Even knowing somebody, being
I know
resourceful.
somebody that can fix.
yeah, no, you're resourceful. No, I tell you, I'll pay motherfuckers to do a lot of shit
being resourceful
now.
is a
I
thing
ain't
too,
paying
though.
nobody to do nothing.
I'll pay a motherfucker to do
I'm
some
doing
shit.
everything
Is it
myself.
somebody
Boy,
that you
I had
look
somebody
back
come fix my
that you-
toilets last week.
But being resourceful is a thing too, because my thing, I have an issue with that, right? I broke up with a guy, literally, because something happened to his car. And I've been here so long, like, when things happen and stuff, you just do it. Like, if my tire popped off, I don't sit on that and try to see. I don't go on Facebook and say anybody fixing tires. Like, I immediately figure out what I need to figure out and get my tire fixed. He literally was like, yeah, my mom, she know a guy. I'm like, how long you gonna wait on your mama? I can't.
I made a post back in my petty days, but I was like,
You still petty, then.
I was like, you think that nigga like you? Tell him you broke down on the side of the road at 2 in the morning.
Oh, and the guy, let me tell you, I have met some true gentlemen
That nigga
in that
ain't
sense.
coming.
But Texas, man, these men
Niggas
will
don't know how
drive
to change
right
your tire.
by you. They will drive right
But
by
it
you.
ain't just. So this has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
So when kids start having kids, what do you expect?
Right.
So now we just say, for instance,
Yeah, because if
on
you
the
did-
average age right now, we're 30, around the 30s. So just think about
I'm damn near
the people that we grew up with that had kids in
You
high
said-
school.
You date
Yeah.
somebody serious now though, so like you
When?
could be looking. No, I'm not saying you
She
you
want to
date.
clarify that she's
Single. But I'm saying like once you start looking for somebody to settle down with, if the day ever comes, like you start looking for different qualities.
Right.
And
And
a
you
man.
and then you learn them over time. Like, you know
Yeah.
what? I realize I don't like. I like communication. I'm learning that.
All women
I
like
when-
communication.
No, I'm saying I like
No,
when
they
somebody
think
actually
they
kind of
like
checked me on it a
communication.
little bit, because I had somebody like where
fact
because I'm
check.
kind of dismissive. I don't. It takes me a minute to kind of get attached now because of that's just kind of how it's been now. So I'm very dismissive. Like if it don't go right, if I don't like it, I
Older
don't
women are more free spirited.
I don't
Aaliyah,
know.
is it
But-
is it somebody thinking about hindsight? Is it somebody that you feel like you didn't drop the ball on at some point in your time? You maybe wasn't ready.
I,
or,
back in the day, all the time. Like before I had kids, literally all the time. Because I was like, "What's the rush?" But they were ready. But I also don't waste people's time.
Do you
I've
see
always
that
been
they're
on
good? They're
They were good
men?
guys. Oh no, they were
They
good
still
guys.
good guys?
Probably.
You like damn? They could
No,
have been
I
my
ain't
husband.
like that because it's like, if I liked you, it didn't matter. I would have tried to figure it out. So I probably didn't like them like that. But I also don't waste people's time, and I've never done that. Like if I truly do not like you, I'm gonna make it clear, and whatever. If you want to continue to come around, that's a different story. But guys like that, I actually say, hey, it's not working out, or I do that. I don't have a problem with
You
it.
break up with people?
I do.
P, you
Hey,
ever
yo.
broke up with somebody?
man, most of the time the men,
Men don't usually break up.
yeah,
with
it's just like,
I
damn.
was just shit drag this shit along till you just
You know what I'm saying?
get
And then
tired
there's
of
that
me.
too, that like
Yeah.
lingering. No, I've actually
Nah,
I
'cause
flat out say it. I'd be
I'm
like,
the type of
"Look,
person. If I get serious with you, I'm really all in. So if things come up, I'm willing to like adjust and work on shit. You know what I mean? Cause it's hard for me to get to a point where like I really like you
right."
every day.
See, I had a
make
situation. I liked them. Liked them
Your
every day.
braids to the back. You know what I mean? Like, you feel me? For real.
Well, yeah, I'll say something. Like I like the guy, and I really liked him. I'm like, I know I like you because I'm around you every day. Because I like my space. I done been by myself forever. Like I ain't never lived with no man. So if I'm at
You
your
need
stuff,
to do that. You need to do that.
You ain't never lived with a man?
I have never lived with a man. So I'm like one of those risk takers, but I'm very
I
calculated.
lived with men for a long time.
Well, I'm sure.
I hate them.
Say, some young so-called black young lady, single mother that's moving from a country town or a regular town to a big city anywhere in America. What type of advice would you give them?
I don't know, cause
You the perfect person.
To these motherfuckers.
I know. My thing be it's just it's easier than you think.
It
Like
is.
don't fight against yourself. Just get out here
It
and
is.
just get it. Like and sometimes you do have to take that job. And another thing, people are scared to leave jobs. Like you can leave that job and go to the next one. Just do it, and you might be at it for a month, but how are you gonna go up if you won't go? Like you can't.
That's the thing for all us, Pete. Because you try. What would you give to a young man who's 18, 19, finishing school, maybe a year out of school, not sure what he wants to do? Because you went and got a trade.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice would you give to these young guys?
I'd say, find out what you love and research things that you love that correlate with generating funds with it. And I also feel like, because me in particular, when I came out, I was still immature. I wasn't ready to be in class, go to class. I hated being in class and being focused on shit I'm not interested in. So if I were rewind the hands of time, I would go to the trade schools right out the gate,
Out the jump.
because you work while you learn.
I don't think because you made a lot of fucking connections in college.
I did. No, and that was going to be the flip side. Because I always say, like,
It's
I
kind
ain't
of
crazy about people going to college because it's
College
a big
is based on
scam,
networking.
but it's nowhere that I can go in the country. It's nowhere in the country, probably in any region of the country that I can go to and not have anybody that I can
Reach
link
out
up
to.
with.
See, I didn't
I can sleep
utilize
on their
college
couch.
You
I got
didn't,
people in California all over that. They family give me the key to the house.
Yeah.
I'm out there for a couple months.
That's the part I really
Simply
missed.
off the fact that when I was in college, they came to my house for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, LJ, you went to school and then went to the military. What advice would you give about just people leaving or how you made your transition? We trying to wrap this up. We ain't got a lot of time, but I just want everybody got different stories, so just leaving home and shit.
But every day is an interview. You never know who you're gonna run into.
It sounds like some
And
real mature shit.
I never
Right.
I never made a bad contact.
Right.
Whether if I talk to somebody and I'm a talker, it don't matter who you are. You could be somebody on the corner that homeless. I'm gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
So
That's
That's
good.
why I
I
just
say that
think
too. I tell people, especially the people that I come in contact with, I'm like, I wish I did even half of this when I was just 7 years younger. Like, I wish I even did half of it. Like, of course, I was working towards it, but I wish I was way more passionate about being financially free than I would have.
I think that comes with growth though, because like I said, it takes a long.
But these people are, the industry now, they're younger. Like, all these people I'm telling this to, and the ones that have figured it out before their 30s, they are already.
But they're younger and they're making more money and they're seeing more stuff faster because of social media. But it still takes a lot of gall to say, I'm gonna quit this 9 to 5 that I know I got a check coming every other week, and I'm gonna use my savings to fund me until my
If you
business
have a
started
savings.
popping off. Yeah, if they got a savings. But I'm saying it's easy said and done. And I saw a post, and I always refer to posts, but I saw this, which makes a lot of sense because they was in like last generation, everybody was saying go to school, like college was the goal, and then you realize that don't work for everybody. This generation is saying, go be an entrepreneur, whoop the whoop, and some people fall flat on their face. So it ain't for everybody, but what I'm saying, everybody got to follow their own path. Yeah. What we're doing is shedding light to different paths. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got to be an entrepreneur. She went to barber school. You know what I'm saying? She was a pharmacy tech. She went to nursing school. You know what I'm saying? And now she's getting in a position where she's a full-fledged business owner of her old brick and mortar business. So it's different paths cut out for everybody. So I think it pick what works for you. Find that thing that keeps you up, wondering and dreaming, you know, every
You
night.
can use your 9 to 5 to fund your dreams.
Keep your 9 to 5 until you get to the position you want to get to. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people who got their own business on the side and still working a 9 to 5. They just make it works for them.
Yep.
So you know what I'm saying? Find what you're passionate about.
That's that Robert Kiyosaki, ESBI.
You can learn from everybody too.
You can learn from
No matter
everybody.
what situation they in. You know what I mean? You
I got a
everybody.
crackhead uncle. Every time we sit down to him,
They
sit
had
down
the
and
most.
talk with
They
him.
had the
know
most
the most
game.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's a crackhead uncle that done had everything.
Yeah, that was up
Yeah,
in
that
the
was up.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. A smart man learn from their mistakes. A wise man learn from the mistakes of others. Yeah.
So,
True.
Miss Leah, we appreciate you sitting down talking with us, giving us some of your time on this busy day. We know you got a lot going. You running your own business as we speak, so we know you got a lot going. Like I said, I want to thank you for joining us. A tradesman, you know, a member of the show. She's official tradesman on the JOAT podcast.
ESOs.
Yeah, shout out all
all
you.
the business.
And when they open up, we definitely come
Oh,
to
we
the
in there.
podcast up in there.
Yes.
So start off with your business. Give them the tags. Give them how they can reach
AP
you.
the tax lady.
APthetaxlady.com. That has all the handles, so you can find my Instagram and my Facebook and my app. And then ESO Mimosa Bar, ESO Mimosa Bar. It's not .com yet.
Located where?
North Arlington.
And when is the anticipated grand opening?
So we do not have to open until November. I want to open, and we plan to open. We've set it for the second week of October.
It's close to
I'm
the
too
month.
far. Oh, second week of October is what we're really hoping for. We should be done with construction here in the next maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So we're trying to get all the other finances and things together to open by November. I mean, October.
Okay. Hopefully middle of October.
Pray for
You'll see us in there.
Yeah.
Again, thanks for joining us on the podcast. Another great episode. And we out, baby.
If you love the Lord.
Thanks for coming through.